Gamers need incentive. I can't just tell you to collect a bunch of green waffler and take their nuts. Those nuts must be currency. If gamers get a reward, like an extra weapon slot, gamers will be nuttin' for nuts. For most games, this is easy. Beat the bad guy, come first place. Gotta collect them all. Others build incentive over time. You may start only trying to beat the bad guy and end up trying to collect every single moon and fucking purple coin in the game. Another part of incentive is the environment. Once again, this is easy for most games. But for racing, and especially open world racing games, this gets harder. How are you going to get a bunch of people in one place to do gray area illegal stuff? Music festivals. I hate to call Forza the original, but they were the first to be fully committed to this style. Before diving headfirst into the weed pit which is Forza, we'll talk about the game that helped form my childhood and made me fall in love with this car, and a lot of cars. It's Need for Speed Pro Street. In my opinion, this game almost mastered the music festival semi-sub racing game. The environment, how the tracks weave together, the car list, the music, all formed one game that I played more than Mario Kart on the Wii. Oh, you thought this was hard on the PS3? My only option was tilt controls. The incentive of the game is brilliant too. Out of the gates, the announcer's building you up, just for some fucker in an Evo to just be like, no thank you, gross. In turn, you're like, I want to beat that cock shit. That, along with a somewhat realistic take on grassroots racing, has made Pro Street a candidate for a game that makes you want to complete it. But back to the soundtrack. I still bump that shit to this day. The mix of punk, EDM, UK rap, and synthy shit is so goddamn good. It makes you feel like you're at a real racing event, not just the Best Driver Festival. A lot of people seem to agree with this as well. Look at this.
Therefore, what you have is a game that tries to differ as much from the predecessor as possible, follow the latest trend, and program it so that it runs on multiple consoles, on top of developing 2 other games at the same time in 1 year, so they never had a chance to refine all the issues, like that moment where it crashes every single time I win a race day.
Damn, he fucking hates this shit.
Go to the comments. Nothing but praise. Side note, I may have a case of nostalgia goggles for the handling, but I really think that this could have been Need for Speed's kill-all formula. If the map was split into small towns and connected by long, fast highways, I don't think I would need to play another game ever. We're in the late Xbox 360 and PS3 life cycle. The next generation is peering their head around the corner. Some of the last games on a console's library, in my opinion, should be some of its greatest. The Wii U, for example, out of the gate, it just got shit on. But in its final hour, Breath of the Wild, baby! Yeah, it might be hanging out with his cooler younger brother as well, but this game was made for the Wii. So how does Microsoft and Turn 10 Studios send off the Xbox kickflip? Forza Horizon. A spin-off title of Forza Motorsport that has an open world and is coming after the big boys with a new studio, Playground Games, and a similar theme to Pro Street, and the music was cranked to 11. Oh, but EA is here too, and they brought out the big guns. By naming their game Most Wanted, you got the fanboys hyped up. Finally, back to a crazy campaign, crazier cars, and no, at least I get to build up a garage of cool hypercars, and no, the cars are spread around the map, and you have to trade them into... In defense of Most Wanted 2012, it had a good soundtrack as well, but the environment didn't take advantage of it like in these games over here. I want you to realize that these games were released within the same week. So do you go with the trusted brand that's releasing a title that looks to stray away from core mechanics, or a spin-off title that seems to be emulating a style that borrowed from those core mechanics? If it was me, I would spend my 60 bones on Forza Horizon. Of course, I only had a PS3 at the time, so kind of ended up with Most Wanted, but you do what you do. Where Most Wanted feels empty and almost like you're the only racer here, Forza throws you in saying, hey, you're not gonna make it. Kind of topped off on you race car driver types. And you know how I've kind of been talking about Breath of the Wild this whole time? It might just be me, but something about Forza Horizon Colorado gives me that vibe. The game just feels stylized in a very pleasant way. For the first time in a while, Need for Speed had the bland graphics, and Forza had something that felt fresh and different. A lot of that is from the environment as well. Horizon Colorado feels like an endless summer, and it had the soundtrack to match. After these two important games, Forza has been trading between Motorsport and Horizon until now, where we're waiting for the fridge to be opened. Need for Speed got faster, then went back to its roots, had a mishap, and now seems to do fine. The main studio is having issues, but I don't think that'll be the end of Need for Speed. We may get a different style of game, but that could be fine. Also, games like The Crew 2, moving from a gritty Underkind style to a festival style in just a DLC update. The Crew proves that this trend is profitable, and we'll see it for a bit longer. I'm fine with it as long as there's good tunes and fast cars, because if there's one thing in common between music festivals and video games, they are built to bring people together.